Hi guys, welcome to your first fourth grade math lesson. So you will need your packet of math pages at the ready. I want to let you guys know that we will not be doing everything in the packet. So there will be some things that we will cover and go over together in this video. There will be some other things that we will do together as your practice pages when we meet on Wednesday for your small math group. And then there will be some things that you will do with your family on Friday for your Friday math. And there will be some things that we may just skip completely. So that will be kind of how our math goes, is that each week you'll get a packet and then we'll kind of work through the packet and select some things to do. But we probably won't do all of it. So if you're feeling kind of like, oh my gosh, this is a big packet, take a deep breath. It'll be okay. Okay. So today, so first of all, on the first page of your packet, you have a page that has kind of a rainbow and looks like this. And it has a checklist at the bottom. On the next page, it says, build your vocabulary, and on the following page it has a family letter and an activity that goes along with it. So and those are pages, you'll notice that in the bottom corner there is, and they alternate, but in the bottom either right or left corner there's a number. So the packet starts on page 1, and those first 4 pages are going to be pages that I would like you to do on Friday as part of your family math. So the checklist will be kind of a self-check to see if at the end of the week you can do those things. The vocabulary will be, do you know what those vocabulary words mean by the end of the week? And then the parent letter will let your parents know what we're working on, and then there's that activity to go through together as well. So we are actually going to be starting our lesson on page 5. So today we're going to be talking about place value. You guys are familiar with place value up to hundreds, right? So you can use a place value chart to help you understand numbers as they get bigger and bigger. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill in. I have a box written in here, and we're going to go ahead and just start with the first box, which when we're talking about our numbers, we know that the first numbers that we talk about are ones, right? So this box would represent ones, and I'm just going to write an O for ones. So if we're talking about place value, we have ones. The next place value over, I'm going to mark with a T for tens. And the next place value over, we would have an H for hundreds. But we know that numbers don't just stop at hundreds, right? We can keep counting forever. So we need to start having other ways of expressing those larger numbers as they get bigger and bigger. So we know that once we have a certain number of ones, we move over to the tens. So once we count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When we get to 10, now we have 0 ones and 1 10, right? If I keep going, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, I'm adding more ones, but I still am keeping that 1 10. Eventually, I get to 19, and then I have to switch to the next tens, which would be 2 tens, or 20, right? Then if I keep going, I'll eventually get to 9 tens, or 90. When I add 10 more to that, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, the next number that comes after that is 100. So I have one group of hundreds, 0 tens, and 0 ones. Now, you guys know that you can keep counting on past 100, right? You can count 101, 102, 103. You could even count by tens, 110, 120, 130. So as we keep counting up, we would get then to the next 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. And then after 900, you would then have 10 hundreds, right? So you would move to the next column. We would say that we would have 10 hundreds or whatever the next place value is. Well, what is the next place value? We have zeros, hundreds, tens, or zeros, tens, hundreds. After hundreds, we get to thousands. So I'm going to mark that with a T and an H. So this number would be 1,000 because it's 1 in the thousands place. We have 0 hundreds, 0 tens, 0 ones. So after we get to 999, we get to 1,000. But we can keep going from there. So after thousands, we would have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. I'm counting by thousands now. 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000. And then the next one would be 10,000, right? So my next place value is actually going to be 10,000. And I'm going to write that as T and then T. So now I have 0 in my thousands, but I have 1 in my 10,000. So I have 10,000. Then I could count by 10,000, 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, 13,000, 14,000, 15,000, 16,000, 17,000, 18,000, 19,000, 20,000. Oh wait, 20,000. That's counting by 10. I was saying it as 1,000 and 10,000 and 1,000. Let me go back. So if I were truly counting by 10,000s, I would say I have 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, 90,000. What comes after 90? 100,000, right? So I'm going to make my box a little bit smaller just for my own aesthetic purposes. So once I get to 90,000, then I get up to 100,000. And I'm going to write that as HT for 100,000. You can keep going from there, but today we're going to go ahead and stop at 100,000 and just explore a little bit more about what we've just talked about. So our order would be, we start with the smallest, the farthest right on your number is the smallest, so ones, then tens, then hundreds, then thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s. After that, you would get to millions, and then you would notice a repeat in your pattern. In fact, let's go ahead and look at our pattern that we have right now. So we know that when we have 10 ones, we switch over to tens. When we have 10 tens, we switch over to hundreds. When we have 10 100s, we switch over to thousands. But then you'll notice, so thousands would be like our 1,000s. 10,000s would be like our tens. And 100,000s is like our hundreds. So numbers go in these groups of threes like that. So next, like I said, we would have millions. What do you think would come after millions? If you said 10 million, you would be correct because we're following our pattern of millions, 10 millions, and then what would come after 10 millions? 100 millions, that's right. So 100 millions, so millions, 10 millions, 100 millions. So we keep repeating in these groups of three. Zeros, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. Millions is what we call the next category. 10 millions, 100 millions, and we can keep going with that. But again, we're just going to stop at 100,000s for today. So let's take a look at page 5, and they have a number there. It says you can use, for number 1, it says you can use place value charts to understand greater numbers. Place value is the value of a digit based on the position in a number. So remember, digits are just those counting numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because then when we get to 10, we're actually using 1 and 0, right? So we are saying that our 1 has a value of 10 now because it's in the tens place. So when we make larger numbers, larger than just 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, those are the digits that we use to create other numbers. So for example, I have digits 1 and 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, but the value of this 1 is that it's in the hundreds, thousands place. And then I don't have any other numbers, but it's not just 1, it's 100,000, right? So below the box, they have it listed as 1, 1, 110, 100, 1,000, 110,000, and they don't have anything in the hundred thousands place. Now below that, it says describe how each place is related to the place next to it. So A says 10 ones is 1 blank. So we know that when we have 10 ones, we switch over to the next place value, which is tens. So 10 ones is the same as 1 10. 10 tens is the same as 1. So remember when we get to 10 tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, we go to 100. So 10 tens is 100. C says 10 hundreds is 1. So if we counted by hundreds, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. We wouldn't say 1000. We would say the next one, which would be thousands. So 10 hundreds is 1,000. And then 10 thousands would be the next number, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000. Oh, I'm sorry. Nope. 10,000. So 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. So we would get to the so 10,000 would be equal to 1/10,000. Okay. Number 2 says use the number in the place value chart to solve the problems. So you'll see that now we have switched our place value chart to have a 3 in the ones, 3 in the tens, 3 in the hundreds, and 3 in the thousands. A says the 3 in the tens place has a value of blank. We know that 3 tens is the same as 30. So the value of the 3 tens, we would write it as 30. So 3 tens has a value of 30. B says the 3 in the tens place has a value that is blank times the value of the 3 in the ones place. So using your knowledge of multiplication from what we talked about last year, we have 3 ones, we have 3 tens. What would you multiply by 3 to get 3 tens or 30? 3 times blank is 30. Well, remember when we multiply by tens, when we multiply by 10, it's really like saying we have 3 times 1 and we add that 0 at the end. So 3 times 10 is going to be 30. So 3 tens is 10 times greater than 3 ones. And we'll see that consistently through all of these other increments. So 10 ones, we multiplied 1 by 10, we would get our tens. If we multiply our tens by 10, we get 100. If we multiply our hundreds by 10, we get our thousands. We multiply our thousands by 10, we get 10,000. And if we multiply 10,000s by 10, we get 100,000. So the 3 in the tens place has a value that is 10 times the value of the 3 in the ones place. Okay. On the next page, on page 6, number 3 says numbers with more than 3 digits have a comma to separate groups of 3 digits. So, for example, in the number that I used, if I write it outside of my place value chart, and I'm going to erase these just to make it a little bit clearer. We can see that I have 3,333, but we break these boxes of 3 into what we call periods, which is kind of confusing because we separate them by commas, but we call this each group of 3 a period. So we have one period of zeros, tens, and hundreds. We have another period with thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s. We talked a little bit about how that third period would be millions, 10 millions, and 100 millions. So each 3 digits that you have in your number, you'll separate by a comma. So I think of it as we start on the farthest right, and we go, whoop, 1, 2, 3. This is where our comma would go to show that we have one period of zeros, tens, and hundreds, and we're starting a new period of thousands. We haven't completed that whole period, so we don't need to draw another comma, but we'll have that one comma in between the thousands place and the hundreds place to show that we have completed that one period. So in the example on number 3, you have a 4 in the hundred thousands place, a 6 in the 10,000s place, a 7 in the thousands place, an 8 in the hundreds place, an 8 in the tens place, and a 2 in the ones place. Below it says write the number shown above in standard form, so the way you usually see it, but they have a comma in the middle. So remember, commas are going to separate the periods. So the ones period you'll see has ones, tens, and hundreds. So let's go ahead and write out 2 in the ones, 8 in the tens, 8 in the hundreds, 7 in the thousands, 6 in the 10,000s, and 4 in the 100,000s. So if I were to just write out all of the digits, I would have 4, 6, 7, 8, 8, 2. But it's helpful to be able to see them separated by periods. So the first period, the one period that I have, it has zeros, tens, and hundreds. So I'm going to say ones, tens, and hundreds. And then I'm going to move on to the next period, which would be thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. So that's the next period. So in between the hundreds and thousands is where my comma is going to come to show that we have completed one period. So I have 2, 8, 8. My comma would go here. So we would have 467,882. Now, if I had one more number in the millions, if I added one more millions, then I would have another comma to show that I completed my thousands period. But since we're not doing that, we're not going to have a comma just hanging out at the beginning. The commas separate them, so we're just starting with our number as 4. Number 4 says use expanded form and word form to understand greater numbers. So A says to say or write the word form of a number, you read each group of 3 digits followed by the period name. You do not say the period name for the ones period, though. So the word form of the number that you wrote, so once again, like I was saying, so we would go ahead and say the number up to the first period. So we would have 467 thousands, because that's the first period. $467,000. Hopefully, yep, that's still on there. And then I'm going to go down to the next line for the next part. So 467,000, but I'm not done. I also have my 882. 882. Now, when you are writing this down on your practice page, I really, they've actually started it for you. So it has 467, and then so you're going to write in, you're going to start in with 1,000, and then add the remaining 882 on the next lines. I don't want you to worry too much about spelling. Try to spell it correctly, but I don't want you to belabor the spelling. The main thing that I want you to take away is that when we use word form, we start with one period, 467, then we give it the period name 1,000, and then we say the next period 882. All right, B says expanded form is a way that you write the number to show the place value of each digit. We show it as an addition problem. So complete the expanded form below for the number in the place value chart above. So I'm going to erase this. Remember, the nice thing about video is that if you didn't finish writing it down, you can go back and pause. But I'm going to take my number and write it in expanded form. So I'm actually going to erase this part too. And I'm going to write expanded form is when you use each number and write it as an addition problem. So I'm going to go through with each section of my place value chart and write it as what that number is plus the next number. So the first value that I have is 100,000. I have 400,000. So I'm going to have 400 and then a comma, because then I have so 400,000, but if I'm just looking at the place value, I'm going to fill in everything to the right of it with zeros. So I have my 4 in the 100,000s place, and then 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, right? So 400,000 plus, now I'm going to look at the 10,000. I have 6 10,000s or 60,000, so plus 60, and everything next to it is going to be 0. So 6, 0, 0, 0, 0. Plus my thousands, I have 7,000, so 7, 0, 0, 0. Plus, then I go to my hundreds, I have 800 plus 80 plus 2. So that would be how you would write the expanded form. Now notice that they have already written in the zeros for you, so all you have to do is fill in the digit. So you would fill in 4, 6, 7, 8, 8, 2 for the expanded form. We're going to go ahead and skip question 5. I would like you to turn to the next page, and so it says that we have, so we're going to skip actually number 7 as well, and we're going to go on to number 8 and do those problems together. So in the first one, we have a place value chart that says we have 200,000s, 8 10,000s, 4,000s, 300s, 7 10s, and 1 1. Below it says write the number shown above in the standard form the way you usually see it with that comma in between. So you'll have 3 digits, comma, and then 3 other digits. So if we were filling these in, we would start with, we have the 2 is the first digit that we have, followed by 8, followed by 4, followed by 3, followed by 7, and lastly we would have 1. So that's the 200,000s, 8 10,000s, 4,000s, 300s, 7 10s, and 1 1 that is shown in the place value chart. But this is how it would be written. Number 4 says use expanded form and word form to understand greater numbers. A says say or write the word form of a number. You read each group of 3 digits followed by the period name. So they've started it for you. 284,000. And then they want you to fill in the part after the comma. 371. So that would be in word form. Man, that's crooked. If we were writing it in expanded form, remember we're going to take each digit and we're going to make everything to the right of it 0. So we would have 2, 0, 0, comma, 0, 0, 0, or 200,000 plus 8, 0, 0, 0, 0, forgot my comma in there, plus 4, comma, 0, 0, 0, plus 3, 0, 0, plus 7, 0, plus 1. So our expanded form would be 200,000 plus 80,000 plus 4,000 plus 300 plus 70 plus 1. So you're thinking about this the same way as our place value. We have 200,000, 8 10,000s, 4,000s, 300s, 7 10s, and 1 1. Now, if you turn to the next page, we've been doing this for about half an hour, so what I would like you to do before turning to the next page is get up, take a quick break. The nice thing about math videos that are pre-recorded is you can pause them, so please pause for a moment, go and take a break, get up and move, and then come back when you're ready. Okay, as you're coming back, we're going to go ahead and start on pages 9 and 10. And we're going to do a few of these problems together. So you will want to follow along in your packet. And I'm just going to go ahead and read them, and I'd like you to fill in the numbers as we go over them. So number 1 says, use a place value chart to think about greater numbers. A, write the number 25,000 so 25,049 in the place value chart. So if you were filling in the place value chart, you would start at the 10,000s and write a 2, 5 in the thousands, 0 in the hundreds, 4 in the tens, and 9 in the ones. B says write the value of each digit. So you would have 2 10,000s or 20,000, 5 thousands or 5,000, 4 tens or 440, 9 ones or 9, and 0 hundreds, which is 0. 0 is kind of that funny one that all the time it's just 0. Go ahead and do number 2 on your own. And when you've done number 2 on your own, we'll go ahead and check your answer. So it says write the number 250,490 in the place value chart. So you should have a 2 in the 100,000s, 5 in the 10,000s, 0 in the thousands, 4 in the hundreds, 9 in the tens, and 0 in the ones. And the value of each digit would be 200,000. 5 is 50,000. Thousands would be 0, so 0 thousands or 0. 4 is in the hundreds, so 400. 9 is 10, so 90, and 0 ones or 0. On the next page, on page 10, Number 3 says complete to show the expanded form of 25,049. So you would have two 10,000s, because the 2 is in the 10,000s place, 5,000s, because there's 5 in the thousands place, 0 hundreds, there's a 0 in the hundreds place, and 4 tens, 4 in the tens place, and 9 ones, 9 in the ones place. So the numbers you would write down would be 2, 5, 0, 4, and 9. For number 4, it says complete to show the different ways you can expand and show 25,049. So 25,049 is equal to blank thousands. So how many thousands is 25 thousands? 25, right? So you would write in 25 for thousands. You still have 0 hundreds, 4 tens, and 9 ones. You could also think of it, the next one says blank thousands and blank ones. So you would have 25 thousands still, but you have 4 tens, which is 40, and 9 ones. If you're just thinking of 1, you would have 49 ones, right? If we didn't redistribute them as 4 tens and 9 ones, you could also say that you have 49 ones. And the last one says, how many ones? So you would have 25,049 ones if you just counted everything as ones. So the way we can think about that is if you have, let's use a smaller number, if you have 4 tens and 9 ones, you could think of it as 4 tens and 9 ones using our base 10 block pictures. So I have 4 rods drawn or lines and 9 ones drawn or 9 units. Or you could also draw 49 which I'm not going to do all of, but pretend that I'm drawing 40 and then I have my 9 units. So you could represent it both ways. It is definitely more time consuming to draw out 49 ones, but you can still think of it as 49 ones. We just often distribute it so that it's 4 tens and 9 ones. Okay, you are welcome to try to complete the next 2 problems, 5 and 6, the connected on your own. That can help solidify it more in your brain, and I would highly recommend that, but it is optional. On the next 2 pages, 11 and 12, these are the pages that we are going to be covering together in our small group practice session on Wednesday. So when we meet for our math time on Wednesday, we will be going over these 2 pages together. In the last 2 pages of your packet, pages 13 and 14, if you find that you fly through those practice pages, these pages can be extra practice to give you a bit more of a challenge if you want. But you may not end up filling those out, especially if you feel like you're struggling with the practice pages. You may not go on to the extra practice, and it's okay if you don't complete those. Okay, but if you do feel like you really got it and want to give yourself more of a challenge, then I encourage you to go ahead and do that with those. All right, so I will meet with you guys on Wednesday for our small group practice time. Please make sure to bring your packet to our practice group. I will also, with this video, be posting a link for the pages in your packet so that if you lose it for whatever reason, you can print it out. And I will also go over the pages of what to do when. That's it for this video. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye!